let's get started. Okay. Fine guys, chalo, let's get started for the topic then. How the IT industry works. Basically, we all know that how this industry is. There is a customer, and the customer could be any client coming, or it could be, if it is a product-based organization, the company itself develops a software. So there is that means there is a business to be achieved, there is a product to be built, and the requirements has to be given to the technical team. The team has to understand the requirement, and then there is a lot of behind the scenes things. Think about long-term maintenance, best practices, ease of usage in the system, do all of that work, and finally deliver the software back. And that's what is the entire IT industry. Understand requirements, be clear with it, design it, develop it, test it, make sure that it is good for like long-term maintenance. New code can be developed on top of that. You don't break the old system while you're writing the new system. And all of these things are the key essentials, right? Once all these things happen, you deploy it back to the production. This is a basic life cycle. Now, since past 20 years, IT industry is there. There have been different ways of working on how the industry should develop these softwares, and that's what becomes the software development life cycle. And eventually, one of the most common and the popular one in the current times is Agile. And it's not recent; it is there since past 15 years, 20 years, long time ago it started. But since past many years, almost since 8 years of my career, I have been working in Agile projects only. Okay, and I worked with some non-agile projects, so I know the pain which is there as part of that, and then I know how beneficial this agile process is. Now, how exactly agile says? First of all, don't develop full project in one shot and deliver to the customer. That's the first thumb rule. Earlier, it used to happen. Full requirements are taken, studied for a very long time, then developed for 6 months, 1 year, and then finally you are demoing, reviewing, and then taking to production. It was a very messy approach. A lot of problems were there. Agile removed all that. Okay? Agile said, make it simple. Don't wait for 1 year. Start delivering project in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, shorter duration. Okay? So rather than developing full project, take limited functionality, maybe 4 features, develop it, design it, test it, everything good, demo it to the customer. If the customer is happy, deploy it into production every 2 weeks, sometimes every 1 week. So these kind of things are also there. So point is, ship it to production as early as possible, and by that way the business gets what they want. And since you're reviewing it in 2 weeks itself, even if the customers don't like the product, they will say make some changes into this, and which you can do it immediately in the next working 2-week cycle itself, right? So that's the beauty of agile. Things go to production very quickly. Customer always knows it in advance what the team is building, and then they approve whether to take it to production or not. And if they don't like it, you can immediately change it in the next 2 weeks of cycle. So that's the beauty of agile. Okay, but now there are few things which needs to be taken care very properly. That is where wrong implementation of agile is going to backfire and invite work pressure. So you can imagine 2 weeks for fully understanding feature, designing it, reviewing it, developing it, code reviewing it, unit testing it, QA test cases writing, QA test cases approval, next QA testing, UAT testing, load testing, security testing, UAT, and then finally to production. You can imagine this is the life cycle of feature. Now, how can such a big complex work process from requirement till production launch be managed in a 2 weeks cycle? That is where the full game happens. The teams, the companies who are able to do it smarter, quicker, those people are always peaceful. And those who struggle with it, they end up taking all the work pressure, tension, skipping the deadlines, customer dissatisfaction, and all of these problems. Okay. Now, chalo, let's understand what is the right way of doing things here. Okay, fine. And what are we going to do? Apart from understanding the things today, I'm going to give you bulleted checklist key at different phases in your projects, what all you guys should do. blindly follow this checklist, but yes, put your own experience to it as well. Make logically understand. Okay, I'm not saying ki I want to just give everything ready made to you. You make your decisions. You change it if you want to change it. You experiment it to your project, to your circumstances, customize it. But at least there should be some base reference. So today you will be getting multiple checklists of what you should ensure at different stages of the project. And right from tomorrow, all the working people start applying it at your job, and all the job seekers, once you get the job, start applying it there. Second, when you're in your interview, talk and think the way we are discussing today. Okay, talk like this. You will create a very great impression in front of your interviewer, and automatically you will be considered as a high quality IT professional, because not many people think and do what we are going to discuss today. Okay, okay, fine. That's where it's already on YouTube. You can watch it for later as well. Now, chalo, let's understand the full process. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. One by one, know it. Then I'll walk you through the checklist. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sharing the screen. Okay, what exactly is the project part, right? Grooming, which is nothing but requirement clarification or gathering. Okay. Next, designing. Next, development. Next, testing at a high level. Okay, so this testing is via the testers QA. Okay, next, automation. Next, sometimes load testing. Next, security testing. Next, UAT. Next, product demo. It can happen sometimes. Product demo happens before UAT. The order can change, but finally, after approvals and sign off, the product goes to production, go live. This is the full cycle of work. Now, what Agile is saying is develop the entire project in 2 week cycle. Okay, nothing but this is starting, this is ending, and then again another 2 week circle starts. So let's say this is first Monday, and then 2 weeks, and then second week Friday, the cycle ended. Next, again the process starts, and this becomes an infinite process all throughout many months to come. Okay? This is how, this is a weekly 2 weeks of cycle. This is a development cycle. Now, what you need to understand is how this full process is going to fit up as part of this working cycle and go to production as early as possible. Okay? There are agile ways of doing it, like sprints, sprint planning meetings, grooming, this, that. But let me tell you the theoretical way, what agile says, okay? If it is not really abided properly, it really causes a lot of problems in the teams and projects and customers and everybody. Okay. And then we realized, out of my 12 years of experience, okay, the bookish agile is only the base work. You have to really aggressively customize it and define the right way of working for yourself. If you're not able to do that, it is going to cause problems. Okay, so chalo, let's see what's the practical way by which things should be done, and let's see it out. Okay, first of all, you need to do one major change in your projects. If you can do that, influence your managers, leads to do it, and that is split grooming and high level designing out of your sprint cycle. There are two kinds of designing: high level and low level. Okay, so high level and low level. So you need to actually split grooming phase and designing, high level designing phase out of your 2 weeks of sprint cycle. If it is included as part of 2 weeks, it is going to cause a lot of problems. Okay, nothing but these are the things. If these things are not finalized, you cannot really estimate the ticket, how much time it is going to take to finish the work. And without these two things, you should not even try to estimate it. Okay, so my first suggestion to all of you is don't really take any feature for development until these two things are done. And if possible, try to split it out. Okay, before even your 2 weeks of cycle starts off working, this thing should be happening in parallel before it actually comes for development. Okay, so this is how it is. So how we do it is, or I've seen many projects doing it. What they do is, every week they pick one day where they are just going to do groomings or requirement gathering. Okay, that is a weekly call. Every week, one day, maybe 2 hours call, where only the features are discussed. If there are questions, you ask the questions, and just to and fro happens. Next, based upon whatever is being discussed, the technical team internally discusses the high level approaches also. Okay, high level approaches in the sense, now the point is, you need to really know the things. Okay, since past 2 3 days into our internal WhatsApp groups, okay, we have shared a message or a post key. There is a design document which is really help you to grow in your high level designing and those kind of concepts. Okay, yes, some of you have reached out and have shared the documents. Okay, and then there are some who has not even taken an initiative. You need to understand, guys, if you want to succeed, you need to act, you need to do things. Life is not going to give you everything ready made. You need to work hard for it. Despite telling it, like, it's okay. Like, you take responsibility of your own lives. Okay, don't take things for granted. Because फिर क्या होता है, guys, when these people really get affected because of recessions and job cuts, then these guys are going to blame it on the system and the world and everybody, right? You need to understand the main problem could be right within you, and that realization is very important. What is the that you are doing wrong, and because of which you are going to suffer someday, right? Right is not, life is just not about taking it casual. You have to get serious about a few things. Okay, so I'm not going to touch it today. High level designing, if you really want to know what exactly it is, drop me the message, maybe as part of today's attendance itself. If I give me that design document where it is available, I will share you that. You have to earn it, know it for yourself, study it, research it, and then know it. Okay, don't do the childish way of behaviors. Okay, somebody should come and tell you, start attacking it. Use these sessions as a guidance to further you explore and grow. You cannot be dependent on anybody. This world is a different place. You have to stand for yourself, explore and do things for yourself. Okay, fine. So what happens in designing? Message me during attendance, just with like share me the design document, and I will accordingly do it. It has very detailed way of what all aspects are considered as part of this high level designing of any application. And generally, you go to any application, the basic thought process always remains the same: caching, concurrency, DB related. Okay, and then maybe load balancer related, auto scaling kind of systems. Okay, then how internally your components will be designed: controller, service, DAOs, helper classes, third party modules. And all of that designing at a high level has to be thought before even you start with the development. Because without these two things, you cannot give estimations. So yeah, what you need to understand is, as soon as the product gives you requirement, as soon as the product gives you requirement, product, who is the product owner is called as the product sometimes. Okay, the person who gives the requirement to the technical team, that is called as product owner in agile, is sometimes also called as product. Now that guy, as soon as they give you the requirement, they will say, tell us estimate how much time it will take, either direct time estimate or story point estimate. But unless you do the high level discussions of that and you are fully clear with requirement, never give the estimate. Maintain that as a thumb rule. First, always discuss, because there will be a lot of gaps. Do that, and then only you should talk about it. Okay, so how we do is, every week we have recurrent grooming calls. Next, after that call itself, every week we do a lot of designing discussions, high level approach finalization, what to do, how not to do, how to implement these requirements, and at a technical perspective. Okay, we do all of that discussion, and at least high level 70-60% clarity should be there, so that if you can estimate it, it will not change. So at least that kind of discussions has to happen. Now, sometimes whatever high level discussions you did, it might need further approvals. before you even start with the development, maybe architect approvals will be required or some cross team discussions will be required. A lot of drama might happen, so you need to get all of that stuff. Okay, now that is where, because these things takes time in clarity and all, so don't mix it as part of 2 week cycle. Try to do it independently, because if these things mix, your entire sprint commitments are going to go for toss. Because if design is not approved, later on they ask for changes, your current sprints will be spoiled, everything. So that is the first thumb rule. Split these things out of your sprint. Convince it. Now whatever it is, discuss with your leads, managers, clients, tell it by these things, let's do it before the sprint itself, because of this there is a problem. Okay, fine. Now accordingly, you have done all of these discussions earlier. Okay, now I have created a simple checklist of what you should do as part of this phase. We discussed it in the week 1 itself. Right now let me quickly go through it. So I have consolidated all checklists together. Okay, so that will really act like helping system for you. Let me launch it. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Sharing screen. Okay, observe. So we are going to discuss 4 checklists today. Fine. Now, as part of grooming, this is what you have to ensure. Okay. The requirements are given in the form of tickets. So that's what you have to ensure. Did you read the ticket? Did you understand the full requirements, what exactly it is? It should be very clear to you. Next, whatever functionality the requirements are coming, you develop this. Do you have any questions? Are there any gaps in the understanding? Okay. Next, think about the high level approach. That is where the system design document I am talking about. Think about that. How can you really build this kind of a solution at high level? Okay. Next, while you're discussing again in that system doc, you will know high level block diagrams, which really helps to understand how to develop this feature. So even spend some time, read that document today. Ask me in the attendance, give me the system document and I'll share it to you. Daily spend 30 minutes just reading that document. It will open up your thought process like anything. Many people in industry don't do that. You change it for yourself. So think about it. High level block diagrams. Okay. Next, if there are any technical questions in terms of these high level approaches, if something is not clear, you should even try to list it down. Next, identify dependencies. So not everything will be done by you. There are going to be different people involved in the process. Okay, nothing but DevOps will be there. Sometimes you will integrate with some other company's API or some other teams you will be coordinating, or you might need architect for some kind of things finalization. Or before really doing this feature, you might have to do some small POCs, small testing, maybe 1 day work, so that based upon that you see whether it really works or not. And all of this could be the pre-work required to really start with this development. Okay, so anything, you have to spend some time in identifying those dependencies. You have to spend some time in checking whether this feature can break any of the existing system. What is the impact to the existing system? And based upon all of these inputs, what can you suggest back to the product owner? देखो guys, technical people even discuss it back to product owner. Never take the requirement as it is. If you feel something is not right, discuss with them. Ask them, okay, bhai, change the requirement, because technically it is getting very challenging to build and it will have a lot of maintenance problems. So please change this requirement. So you have to give that, and that is where product owner and the tech team has to work as one unit. So what, build a technically easy solution which is easy for long-term maintenance and is design wise right. Don't overcomplicate the systems. Okay, so many times this also happens. Product gives requirement, team understands it, everything, but technically to build that there is a lot of complexity, bad code, ugliness will happen. So try to simplify. Don't build complicated systems. It will become tough for others to maintain. Okay, so tell that, and after that you should be able to estimate the tickets. Now as part of grooming process, you all should do these things essential. Even if you are at a junior level, I would suggest 1 year experience, 0 years experience, 2 years experience. Independently, you do all of these activities, and then you start having discussions with your team members. You will be able to better ask questions or get clarifications or contribute to the meetings which are going in your company automatically. If you do this work independently, let's say after office, read it, try to do all of these things. When you are having discussions with your team members, automatically you will be adding a lot of value in that conversation. People will then start noticing you rather than you being quiet and not really speaking anything. Okay, so try to do that. Once you get experience, 5 years and all, you automatically start doing it, but beginning time is where you can actually grow faster. Okay, so fine. So this is what will be taken care as part of grooming. Okay, now coming back again to our list. So grooming checklist is here. I'll give you this Excel sheet link. It's the same reference sheet where we have goals, where we have day plans. Okay, next where we are now having this checklist also. Same place I'm putting everything so it becomes easy for you to access it. Okay, fine. So chalo, by this way, this will be done. Now moving on forward. This is done, approvals, everything taken. Now let's say you are on the day one of the sprint. Okay, nothing but sprint is called as this 2 weeks of working cycle is called as the sprint. Okay, now there is a agile way. I'll quickly relate multiple things together. Okay, let me show you a diagram. Yes, many of you are working professionals, so you would already know this, but yes, some of you might still be not that much aware, so for them this will act like some kind of help. Just quickly look through it. We'll try to relate multiple things together. Okay, if you are not able to catch up a few things, don't worry, go through the session again. Later on you ask questions, we can discuss it. So fine, the requirements come. Okay, now you discuss all of that, designing requirement, everything is done by this time itself. There is a meeting called as sprint planning meeting. This happens on the day one of the sprint. Okay, so day one of the sprint is nothing but 2 weeks of working cycle. So yes, they are saying 1 to 4 weeks. It completely depends upon what is the cycle of your project, but generally I have seen 2 week sprint. Okay, many projects have that cycle. Now what do they do is in the sprint planning meeting, they take the item and then they give a commitment how much work can be finished by the end of the sprint. Okay, again, don't get into much details because yes, your seniors of the team will be able to do that, but you have to involve as part of this two process. Okay, what work can be delivered and then task breakout. Okay, task breakout is nothing but, okay, this feature is going to take 3 days for development. Okay, generally you will be always involved as part of these initial discussions. So which task will be allocated to you? Sometimes one feature might be very big, it might be broken down into smaller 1 day task, and then out of those tasks, which one comes to you, which one can be done by somebody else. All of that kind of planning happens on the day one itself. Nothing but work allocation. Okay, for the next 2 weeks, who is going to work on what tickets, what will be that task, all of that breakdown happens as part of the day one itself. Okay, so but end expectation is we really see how many features can be delivered in 2 weeks based upon the people that we have. The time estimations are important, so we already discussed this part here. Okay, do the time estimation. Okay, for full feature, how much time it will take. Considering this time that it will take, people commit, okay, how much of story work they can finish here. Okay, then they take that work, they split it down into tasks. Okay, who is supposed to do what task? There could be multiple UI developers, multiple server developers, multiple QA developers. Okay, QA resources. So then they are deciding, okay, who works on what task, and all of that task breakdown is available in Jira. So they use the tool here called as Jira. In the Jira, all you guys will be there. They assign these tasks to each of you on Jira. And as part of this discussion, you can ask questions. Hey, I'm not clear on this one. I'm blah, blah, blah here. Can you give me more clarity on this one? And I don't feel, if they say, hey, you have to finish it in 2 days. But if you feel it is not possible to do it in 2 days, you need to tell it back here itself. And so involve more as part of this. Involve more as part of this. And there is a checklist as well. Okay, what you should ensure on the day one of your sprint, when your work is starting, what are the areas you have to make sure it is proper, and you have to have proper clarity of that. And that I have covered as part of the second checklist, sprint day one checklist. And you have to make sure that you finish all of this checklist on the day one of the sprint itself for all the features which are planned for you. Okay, again let me repeat, you need to make sure that you follow this checklist. Okay, you need to make sure that you finish this full checklist for all the features which are assigned to you for that sprint. Okay, and I'll tell you first, walking through the checklist, then I'll tell you, okay, if you don't do it on the day one, how problematic your entire 2 week cycle is going to become. Okay, so understand it, very logical, it is required. That's it, it is based upon experience. And I don't feel there should be any other way of doing it, because anything else will be a very horrible way of working in my view. Okay, now what is this kind of a checklist? Okay, first, let's say there are total 5 features which are planned for that sprint. Out of 5 features, 2 features are allocated to you. Okay, now you need to understand how this work breakdown is going to be, right? So let's say total sprint is having 5 features. These features includes UI work plus server work plus QA work, sometimes even DevOps work, sometimes even DBA work, anything can be there. Okay, so multiple people involved as part of this 5 features. Now, on the day one, there are, let's say, 2 features planned for you. So it completely depends how your project is. If you're a UI developer, you get UI. If you're full stack, and if they say you have to do UI and server both, those kind of projects will be there. Otherwise, if you're a server, you take only server work. So let's say 2 features are defined for you and you are a server developer. Okay, so that means this entire work will be 2 features given to you, but you are doing only one piece of it, which is server developer. That means there are other guys, UI developer plus QA, who is going to work on the same feature. And the basic expectation is in the full 2 weeks, not just these 2 features, but the full 5 features has to be developed, has to be tested, and the code has to be available in a central place. Nothing but by the end of 2 weeks, this entire work of 5 features should be done in a manner and deployed to the production environment in a very smooth thing. Okay, fine, all these things good. But now what is the checklist? 2 features are allocated to you and you are the server developer for that. What you have to do on the day one of the sprint, and close it on the day one itself. Don't let it drag for later. It will cause problems for you. Okay, now what are you supposed to do? First, read full ticket line by line. So whichever is your feature assigned to you, read it end to end, because clarity is everything. Without clarity, if you start working, there will be double work. Fine. So you read everything line by line. Okay. Next, earlier before the sprint itself, we said do the high level design discussions, approaches, and all that high level, right? High level tech design. How would you build and all that will be done before itself. So on the day one of the sprint, you should get full clarity about whatever was discussed earlier. Okay, so that is what comes the second thing. Read earlier high level tech discussions, okay, whatever happened during the grooming phases. Okay, don't assume, read it properly, understand. Okay, next comes is, as a developer, you have to think about the low level implementation. Okay, high level approach, maybe your seniors will be included, but low level implementation. What does the low level implementation look like? It could be how the API design should be, what endpoint should be written, what should be the request structure, what should be the response structure, what should be the error code handling, what should be the database design here. Okay, now all of this. Next, how is one service talking to another service is already discussed in high level, but can you reuse some existing methods? Okay, how can you write code which is easy to maintain? Now all of that comes as part of low level design discussions, nothing but the actual internal things. Next, feature is saying get 3-4 logic needs to be implemented. Even thinking about how you can write the logic in an optimized manner, some thought process should be going there. Okay, and yes, there are standards for all of these things. HTTP standard needs to be followed, status code standards, error code standards, writing code standards, okay, API formats, and blah blah blah, a lot of things. Database standards are also there. How to write procedures, how to write table names, how to write field names, and that also comes with standards. Okay. Next, if you're writing JDBC and stuff like that, always writing using prepared statement, no using concatenate to prevent SQL injections. These are some basic practices. And all of these things you have to think as being a developer of the system. Okay. And that's what comes as part of think of low level implementation. Now, generally what happens is in Jira, these discussions of high level implementation approach, low level approach, generally it's good to cover it at high level, maybe in some bullet points as part of your Jira task itself. So that in 6 months from now, if somebody asks you, by what did you do for this feature, you can just go to Jira and read it from there. Hey, these were the discussions and we have built it up like that. It saves a lot of time in future. So it is highly recommended, update it in Jira, whatever is your thought process and everything. Okay. Now, once you do that, again, impact analysis, we said it earlier, but be clear with that once again. Okay. Now, this is important. On the day one itself, discuss your understanding and approach with your team seniors. Okay. Guys, whatever you code, somebody is going to review that later. In my personal opinion, whoever is going to review your code, your system, and everything, before developing itself, try to have a discussion with that person. Okay, bhai, am I clear in my understanding? Am I clear with my approach? And if there is any changes required, do it beforehand only, so that after review there is no double work happening. So work in a smarter manner. Before coding itself, get the high level things discussed, approved. If there is changes required, try to do it. If your team member says, no, 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 we'll do it later, it will cause problems for you as well as the reviewer. Double work, time missing and all that. So I would say, as a friendly note, discuss with your seniors. Okay, I'm having this understanding. Can we have a 15 minutes call on the day one itself for all the features? If it is not possible to do for all features, maybe do you finish some today, some you finish on the day two. That's how you work. Okay. Next, ensure that this is important, guys. They go, A players take full responsibility of this feature. Okay. Even though three guys are working on the feature, UI, server, QA. They go, my personal way of working is I don't really count on the rest of the two people for full delivery of my feature. If I am the person working on that feature, that means it becomes my responsibility to make sure that other two guys do their work properly, give me a right quality sign off, and my feature goes to production without any problems. Because there are three people or more people involved in one feature, if nobody takes the ownership, and generally many people will not take 100% ownership of feature, they will blame, and that is what going to cause a lot of problems in your projects. There should be one good guy who takes ownership of that feature, and I want you to take that. Don't toss it to other people, because if they don't do it, your life will become miserable. Okay, so that's how it is. So regardless of if you are a QA developer, QA resource, or a UI resource, or a server resource, anybody can take that ownership. I want whatever role you play, you take that 100% ownership. Okay, the feature which you do has to be properly developed, properly reviewed, properly given to the QA, should be bug free, approved, going to further UAT phase and to the production environment. And that is where, when you think that 100% ownership responsibility, you have to make sure that you know the other two people understood the feature requirement properly. That clarity has to happen on the beginning itself. Okay, who are the other guys who are working on my feature, and do they also understand the same? Or because confusion will happen if three people understand it differently, they build differently, and a lot of problems will go through. Okay. Second, if you are doing this low level designing, API contracts needs to be shared between UI and server. Which endpoint needs to be there, which request, which response. So all of that communication coordination will be very high here. Okay, sometimes the tester is going to say, I've written my test cases, can somebody from the dev team review it? Again, coordination will be there. So all of that, make sure that three people have same understanding about the feature. Do it before development starts. Otherwise, you will end up having problems for yourself. Okay? Next, double check the estimates. Okay, how much time it will take for finishing the feature. And if you see any risk concerns, raise it in advance. Next, if there are any open questions, something which is not clear for your requirement, track them. Okay. And if there are any dependencies which are not answered, basically, if there is anything not clear on the requirement, you should track, yeah, I don't have this clarity. Okay, this is what you should do on the day one of your sprint for all the features which are assigned to you. It is possible. It is possible. This will save a lot of hassle in future, because if there is anything not clear or confusion, you still have in next 2-3 days to get the things answered. If you don't do it for everything on the day one, you take only one feature, clarify it, you start developing. Let's say it takes 3 days. And after that, you are picking another feature. And then if there are questions in that, clarifications are required, already 4 days are gone. Now you are starting. If other people don't respond in time, dependencies are not resolved in time, questions are not answered in time, it will end up pushing your delivery late. Timelines will be missed. Last moment, late stretching, weekend working, all of that drama is going to happen. So do that part up ahead. Tell everybody we are not clear with all this, and accordingly things should be going through. Okay, fine. That is what should be your day one checklist. Okay, now moving on. So guys, so far clear? Just put a few things in the chat, everybody. Whatever is your clarity, if you guys are clear so far, just put a few things in the chat. Whoever are clear, just say yes, yes, yes. If you're not clear or partially clear, just say ke partially clear, or say ke not clear, or say ke sab bouncer ja raha hai. Like, okay, guys, but this is what you have to really be good at. Okay, very good. Many people are typing yes, yes, yes. Pretty good. I'll give you this sheet. Follow the checklist blindly, guys, and I think you will definitely start improving. And guys, even seniors don't do these things properly. 5 साल हो गया, 6 साल हो गया, still carelessness, overlook में बहुत problems happens in the system. ठीक है, ownership लेना is very important part of IT industry, and many people just toss their ownerships here and there. They can do it, but they don't do it, and that is where could be the opportunity for you people for growing. Okay, fine. Chalo, moving on. So what happened so far? Grooming done. You have a checklist. You start following that. If it is not so, clarity will happen. Your mind will work very sharp. You did all that. Finally, you come for the sprint planning. You finalize how much work can be done. You're involving in the sprint planning, task breakdown. You're saying, hey, I want this feature. Hey, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not clear with this. You involve, you get your final work allocated for the full 2 weeks of sprint. Do that involvement properly. Okay. Next, on the day one, follow this another checklist. Involve with the dev QA, both of the UI server dev guys together, understand it, think about low level designing, whatever is your full understanding of ticket and requirement, discuss it with your seniors and all of that. If there are any open questions, unclear questions, have that thing properly tracked in Jira again, so that you know everything is transparent in the system. You're not hiding anything or missing anything as well. Okay, so far ho gaya. And now once these things are all done, then getting started with the development activities. Okay, now as part of it, okay, as part of sharing the screen again. Now, how you need to really get started. Okay, we are talking about the way of working process here. Okay, now the thing is, whatever coding and all, so it comes with yourself, right? You have learned so much of programming in Java, in Python, in blah blah blah. You need to be able to build code, okay, seeing the requirement. You just need clarity how the API should be written, internal logic. You should have to know how to build it up, and that is where all these platforms come, right? Lead code, code signal, where you do the coding and accordingly take a problem, code it, and you will automatically become better in your logic part. Okay, so that's where comes your part of efforts of growing there. So go to websites like Code Signal, Lead Code, and Geek for Geeks, Career Cup. Okay, and all of these websites will give so many problem assignments. Start solving them, and automatically you start getting better in your coding and requirement part. Okay, now the thing is, if when you are going forward with the system, okay, daily basis agile says stand up should happen. Okay, so work is taken every 24 hours. There is a meeting which the full team involves. Okay, now what are you supposed to do in that meeting? Generally, people do few things. I will give you some more detailed bullets. Okay, what will make your clarity simple? Okay, first, you have to tell what did you do yesterday. Fine. Next, what is the plan for today? You have to tell that. Next, are you having any blockers, concerns, or any support you need from other member? Already plan it. So my suggestion is, if you're really a good IT professional, before going in the stand up, you should already think about these things. Those are result oriented people, not like stand up mein aake aise aise karo, pata nahi kya karna hai yaar. Don't do that. Many people come with that attitude and it doesn't work. So maybe 15 minutes before your stand up, think about your work. What is going to happen? Are you dependent? Are you having any problems? Raise it in the morning so that you can get your work done, because you don't know it in the morning. During the day, if you are blocked anywhere, concerns are coming, other people will be like, we are busy with our work. And in the end, what would be your status? Array, that guy is not helped me, so my work is delayed. It happened because you were not proactive. It is your fault, understand. It's not because other did not solve it. It's because you did not raise it on the right time. Guys, any problem can be solved if you take ownership of it. Okay, what can you do to solve that problem? There will always be a reason to blame it on others, but you need to know okay, what can you do to fix that problem. Even if it is others mistake, how can you change your coordination so that you can get your work done? Okay, fault might be anybody, but can you do something to get the problem sorted? That's how a players think. Okay, so that's how it is. If others have not done their work, you have to follow up with them 10 times during the day, maybe call them, do whatever, but get your work done. I was like that all throughout my 12 years in the industry. Okay, all throughout my 12 years, and I got my work done with whoever people I was working with. I used to chase them, call them weekend, morning, evening, whatever. But if I have some task in hand, I make sure that everybody else sorts it out so that I am not blocked anywhere. Take that kind of ownership, and I enjoyed my full 12 years very beautifully because of proactiveness and getting my work done by other people. So if they are blocked, okay, I am blocked, so I have to make sure they are unblocked so that my work gets done properly. So when they finish their thing, work comes to me, I just clean it up very cleanly. Fine. So that's what, be proactive in the morning, see who you are blocked with, what support you need, raise it, and then during the day chase those people for sorting it out. Follow up with them aggressively. In the morning we said I wanted this help, right now you have not yet provided me. Chase them to get your work done. Don't just come by the evening, or he was busy with other thing. That's a loser talk. Okay, don't do that. Fix your life by ownership of your work. Fine. Next, this is what I said. As the end result of this, tracking and following up on the requirements, open questions, clarifications. We said on the day one itself, if there are any open questions, dependencies, every single day in the morning, remind everyone if my dependencies are not yet solved, there are still open questions. And if these things are not addressed, I will not be able to finish the work on time. Keep raising that alarm every single day, so that after 5 days, if these problems are not sorted and manager asks you why your work is not done, you can simply say, I've been telling it since past 5 days and the work is not getting solved. So that's where other team members will get your work done, because you are proactively tracking it. Okay, fine, very good. And next, this is where you'll grow more in your maturity. Start talking in terms of due date, not just what did you do yesterday, what did you plan today, but start talking. Let's say today is 22nd of December and you have planned a feature to finish by 27th. Add a statement in your communication. Yes, we see that by 27th work will be done. If you feel it is not going to happen, tell it, okay, it is tight, we might not do it, it might go to 28 as well. So let the deadline talk properly. And you have to talk ahead in advance, not like one day before deadline you're saying, oh, tomorrow I cannot finish it. That's the problem with many ITP. Okay, don't do that. Be proactive, think ahead in future. Okay, do you really see you will be able to meet the deadlines? And guys, only those who meet the deadlines, they will be able to get the projects done properly. Okay, think about always deadline perspective. Talk in terms of deadlines. That's how productive people talk. They don't talk open ended. It's like pata nahi next week hoga. No, deadlines. 27th means 27th. If it is going to go to 28th evening, you should tell that. Deadlines are what will get you productive results in the industry. And that is where clients ask for timelines. Everybody asks for deadlines because that's how the work happens. Okay? And many people don't do it properly, and that's where they end up causing problems for themselves. Okay, fine. Next, first requirement, 2nd December, fine. Next, check. Yeah. Okay, now this one, check complete status of your ticket during your stand-up time. Okay, whoever are the UI and the QA people you're talking to. Okay, if you're a server guy, in the morning ask it. Okay, you are doing the server development, right? Ask the UI person, hey, what about your status? Did you start with the UI development? I gave you the contract already. How is that part progressing? If he says no, it is not done, you need to say, by prioritize this work because we have to give it to the tester today only. Why it is not done? So that's what, taking ownership of the feature will make sure that it happens regardless of who is working on it. One person has to take it, that's enough. Not all the three, one person has to take. I want you to take it because that will make you a star performer of the team. Not like a dhakka mukki se bas chale ja rahe IT industry. That doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're a QA. You ask your team members, okay, why developers, tomorrow I am going to expect to start the testing of this. Where is the feature right now? What is the status of this? Is the development done? Did you guys do the dev testing? Where are the evidence of dev testing? Are there any confusions? Will I get it on time or will it be delayed? And if it is delayed, you talk to the manager. Hey, if it is delayed, I cannot finish my testing on time. It is also going to be delayed. Let the scrum master or the manager fix that problem for you. Being proactive, thinking about these dependencies, communicating it effectively on a day-to-day basis at job, that's what is your role. And do it properly, because nobody else is thinking about that feature the way you are thinking, and that should be your focus on every single day of your work. Up ahead in advance, get this clarity. Morning stand-ups will happen, make it count. Don't be laggard or like lazy people, just wakes up from sleep, logs in and like kya chal raha hai system. Don't be that. If you're in the IT, be energetic, apply your time properly. Okay, fine, all these things said and done. Now, how exactly you should think for the full 2 weeks of work cycle? Now let me give you even some guidance of how you should plan your 2 weeks. Now this is interesting. Okay, this is really interesting because if you work like this, life will become peaceful. I even created a beautiful checklist for this. Out of my full 12 years of experience, these are the rules. Agar if I am dead tomorrow, I would like to carve this on my tombstone and say, okay, I like this work in the IT industry. So what has Tausif given to the world? Do the stand-ups like this. Follow the checklist like this. And I would be happy about it. Okay, chalo. So these could be the gems of how to work. Okay, this really simplifies a lot of things in projects. So these are that valuable steps. Okay, fine. Next, column number E. This is where it comes. How you should operate your full 2 weeks of sprint. Many people don't do this thing properly, and that's where they end up suffering deadlines, pressure, and all of that drama. They are not planning it properly. Now, what you should do for your own tickets, forget about your team members. At least first take care of your responsibility. What you should do first, initial days of the sprint, full efforts. Okay, full 100% efforts in the beginning days of the sprint. Okay, even though don't care about the timelines, estimations, everything. Okay, there are two ways of working, guys, you need to understand. Okay, one is average way of working, which regular people does, and one is productive way of working. Okay, now point is, if you work an average way, and generally the estimates that are provided, it will take 3 days to do, that is not productive way of working estimate. That for many projects it is regular average way of estimates, where there is not too much of work pressure, hardcore stuff. It is like practically itna ho jaye. That's what it is. So if you are saying 3 days estimate, it is manageable 3 days estimate. It is, yes, practical, manageable, but without work pressure. Now what I want you to do is, work in as a productive resource in the beginning 40%, 50% of your sprint. You will realize that whatever work could be done in 6 days, you will start doing it in 4 days itself. That's what is productive way of working. And I would say in the beginning 4 days of your sprint, if it is a, let's say, 2 weeks of sprint, the initial 4 days, do as maximum hard work as possible. Cut down tree breaks, cut down meetings, cut down talking to other people, full 100% focusing on the project dependencies, getting it sorted. Do all of that in the beginning 4 days itself. You will realize almost full work, maximum portion will be completed here only. And then you can a bit relax as part of the remaining 6 days. Okay, you will never, guys, this has been my model of working since past as long as I remember. 7 years, 6 years. First I applied this on myself, then when I started leading teams, 10 members, 15 members, 20 members, right now 40 members, the same model I tell. Beginning of the sprint were like war mode, full on efforts, cut down everything else. Okay, that's how you do it. Later on, relax. So you will ensure that the items are finished on the right time, given to the testers on the right time. Testers are testing on the right time. And if there are bugs coming, you fix it on the right time. But if you slow down in the beginning, later on your work will be finishing late, you will give it to the testers late, bugs will be coming late, quality will be impacted, and then last moment late night stretches, weekend working, and in the end when you deliver it, there will be still bugs there, customers are unhappy, and you will be like, come on, we are working so hard and people around me are unhappy. Yeah, this is what starts happening in the IT industry. And that is where people start getting frustrated कि क्या काम कर रहे हैं यार, इतना काम कर रहे हैं, गाली पड़ती है. Okay, that's what happens because your way of working needs to change it. Initial full efforts, later on slow down. Okay, you will get more time to really do polished quality work. Next, second, take complex or challenging work first. Don't push it for later. The thing which is unknown to you, try to finish that first because there is uncertainty in that. Okay, easy thing to ho hi jayega, you know that. Take complicated box first, unknown things first, so that if you do it in the initial 2-3 days itself, you will know what is working, what's not working, and you can tell it in the beginning only, okay, we will not be able to do this because it's having so much of other problems, and then something can be done if you know it in advance. Many people try to finish easy work first, later they take the complicated, and then they realize lot of other problems, then the deadline shift, the customers are unhappy, and a lot of other problems. So change the equation. Initially take the complicated work. Fine. Next, we are already speaking about it. Daily follow up and get your dependencies queries resolved. So in the stand-ups, talk about it. During the day, follow up with the people, get your work done. Learn that art in the IT industry. Nobody is going to do your work. You have to chase people to get your work done. That's the thumb rule of working in industry. Don't care सामने वाला क्या सोच रहा है. If it is your work and if it is blocked, you have to chase people till hell to get your work done. That's it. Morning, evening, drop messages, call, ask them, okay, when are you going to do it? And then communicate. That's how you do things in IT. Okay, fine. And clear communication of what will happen or not happen. If you're not getting your work on time, tell it to your leads, managers. I will not be able to finish this ticket because that guy has not yet given me. I'm chasing him since past 3 days. You ask him by when he can finish. And whenever he gives, from there, I will take 2 days for finishing this work. Clear, clear communication. That is how you have to be effective, knowing the impact of every decision which happens at day, every single day. That's how you start becoming better. Okay, and people want to work with such people who have clarity in thinking and clarity of actions, and that's wonderful way of working. And always this, guys, go an extra mile. Okay, I love some of my team members who really go an extra mile. As I'm a leading 40-member team right now, there are challenges. Okay, and I know that who goes an extra mile and who doesn't. It's just obvious. Okay, you don't just care about yourself, you care about your team members. If others are in problem, you go there, you solve their problems also, and that quality starts taking you more forward in your career. Okay, so this is what it is, guys. Simple rules, but it is going to completely change your life around massive success will start coming, massive results will start coming, recognition will start coming, deliveries will happen smoothly, customers will want you in your team, leads will want you in your team, and they will say, we want these guys for any complicated work and project. Opportunities will start showing up, promotions will start showing up, hikes will start showing up. And not doing it like this, there will be a lot of other problems, just opposites of whatever we said. Okay? Now, I want you, okay, this I have derived out of my full 12 years experience of working with a lot of people, lot of projects, lot of circumstances. I want you to think about this. Then try to make assumption in your projects. How can it be fit up? What can you do? And if you want to change, yes, be flexible to change. Experiment it out, what's working for you. But in the end, develop your own set of final things of how you should work. And those should be your pillars. And guys, become a high performer, a player which people demand for. Okay, people should really want to have you in the team. Become that quality individual. Okay, and then you will be definitely valued, respected, given opportunities in the industry. And I personally feel average people will really struggle throughout their career. They will cry, complain, but those who are belong in the top layer, they will always be awarded. It doesn't matter what happens in the market. Okay, now it is your choice. Where do you want to belong? It's a transparent industry. You can cry about it, but layoffs are happening, right? Business at times will go right, at times will go bad. You can cry, complain about it, but that doesn't change the reality. Okay, so low performers will be hit some stage or the other in their careers. Hide and seek is not the way of working. Hide and seek, politics, delegating is not the way of working. It will cause problems for you in your career. Okay, and you will be struggled in the industry. You know, how I got this mindset is I work for startups. I work for complicated, tight, high paced, demanding kind of projects, which really made me who I am. Okay, maybe slow paced companies might not give you that opportunity, but I am saying if you really become great, no matter which company you are in, you will be able to do wonderful things. Okay, so this is what it is. Fine, I'm sharing the attendance. Quickly mark the attendance. Think about this today's session and try to belong in the A category. Okay, and guys, if you have any questions today, write it down in the chat. Ask for the system description. Tomorrow is the last day of the session. Okay, so first let me share the attendance, everybody. And guys, from January onwards, 2nd Jan, let's start 2023 with a bang. Okay, so we are going to start with another full-end program, end-to-end of career transformation, and get your friends there. You also join in, because it is not about knowing the techniques, guys. Whatever we heard today, okay, few of you will apply it. Few of you might just relate with it. But if you listen to it multiple times, if you just make that as the way of living, your thought process should change basically. Okay, so that is where I would recommend to join back again. Okay, it's free, there is no cost involved. You just need to have focus towards growing. Okay, chalo, the code for today is 5656. And guys, these rules, yes, I have found it after a lot of struggle and ups and downs and all of those things. So point is, unless you experience those problems, maybe you will not be very confident to really apply all these things. Okay, so but if you repeat it more, join along with 2nd December, 2nd Jan also. Our mindsets will change, our thought process will change, how we look at the world and IT projects, responsibility, ownership. Dhire dhire, your belief system will start rewiring the more you come to this session, listen to us, because that self personality has to change. And I'm not going to talk for you to become an average person in industry. It's going to be a very horrible way of working. I want you to belong in the top players, which are getting highly rewarded, big opportunities, big money, big heights, somebody who the industry can trust upon, and who is taking the systems together towards success. And if you become that, guys, money is not a shortage. Okay, guys, my mind just opened once I hit like 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs package many years ago. When I hit that package, then I realized money is not a problem in the IT industry. 20-25 lakh mil jayega. There is no end for it. You keep climbing. I know packages of people 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs, 1 CR, crossing even than that. Okay, 10 lakhs monthly utha rahe public. I've just seen that. Okay, it's all there in the industry, but who will get it? Not everybody, not average people. If you become gem in the industry, those rewards are for you, and you can accomplish it because it's humanly possible. These are not words. This is the ground reality. Some people will make huge. Some people will struggle, suffer. 15,000 a month, 10,000 a month. Like 10 साल हो गए इंडस्ट्री में, कितना पैकेज है भाई? 10 लाख कमा रहा है. And there are people in 10, 12 years of experience earning monthly 10 lakhs. What are you going to talk about? There is no limit. It's up to you how much you can extract. There are right jobs, right companies who can pay well, but they will not pay for average performers. Become great, learn, put your blood and sweat into becoming somebody in this industry, and industry will reward you. Nice way of working. Okay? Chalo guys, and yes, I'm sharing the registration link for January, 2nd of Jan. So if you are not yet registered, join in guys. Don't make this a one-time listening session and after that your life remains the same. Okay, it doesn't work. If you're not changing after listening to all this, life is not going to get magical rewards for you. Okay, effort dalna padega, change hona padega. Okay, okay, fine. So I'm pasting this link. Join in from 2nd Jan. Okay, join in again. Let till the time you start getting results of your life. Let your thoughts change. Right now, you are the person of the past 20 years thought process. Right now, if you start thinking like A players, it will take some time, maybe 6 months, 1 year, but that is required because you still have 60 years ahead in your life. Become the A player in whichever industry you are, life will start rewarding. So join back again. There is no money involved. You just have to put efforts, take actions. Some of you might have taken some actions during current workshop, but January may take more actions. Let's push yourself. Okay, and I think wonderful results will come. And next week is the December. Okay, so must ghumo firo. I would say really go travel someplace, enjoy, have a nice time. Look at what happened in December. What did you do in the morning and what did you do right now? Okay. Acha, yeah, somebody asking for Excel sheet. So let me share this Excel sheet reference again as well. Take a second. Okay. Yeah, guys. This is the same Excel sheet where we are putting all of the information, goals, this, that, trying to consolidate it together. So it will become a single reference for all. Okay, so this is the reference sheet, Excel sheet that we were seeing throughout the session. Okay, bookmark it. I would say कि भाई download it and host it with you because I might keep changing it. ये वो download it, maintain your own version so it will always be with you. But more importantly, following that properly. So thank you everybody and see you guys tomorrow for the last session. Okay, and then enjoy yourself. Have a nice day and see you guys tomorrow. Ask the questions if there. Okay. Chalo team, see you guys later.